All right. Hold on one. Okay. Sorry, I'm looking at too many screens. So I was sitting there looking in my county while Brian was talking about the payments that our counties are getting, our state employees are getting. And so I just pulled up my county. I just figured I'd show you guys how I do it. You go to this website here. It's if you live in Georgia, it's Open Georgia. It's open.ga.gov, and you can see all the income that they make. So you just click on this right here. It's really hard to see. It's little bitty words. It says click here. You go in there. It tells you you can't share the information to make a profit, or I don't know what it says, to be honest with you. You can't use it against them, I think is what it says. So gotta click down there to get in there. And then you can search by person, title, or organization. And then you can go in and search and see what everybody's making within the state of Georgia, our state employees. Um, so there's that. Um, if you want to go and search your county, you can see what your county employees are making. So yesterday, Brian went over it. I just have a couple of things that I'd like to add. Um, the uh, the press conference yesterday. So Trump's Stargate project. Um, and I'll go ahead and play this video. So he's setting the stage. Is it going to be the mark of the beast? I don't know. So we've got a little conspiracy theory and what's happening up there in DC around this AI um, data collection. So let's take a listen.
All of our cancers, cancer tumors, little fragments of those tumors float around in your blood. So you can do early cancer detection. If you can do using AI, you can do early cancer detection with a blood test. And using AI to look at the blood test, you can find the cancers that are actually seriously threatening the person. So we can, again, cancer diagnosis using AI has the promise of just being a simple blood test. Then beyond that, once we gene sequence that cancer tumor, you can then vaccinate the person, design a vaccine for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine, you can make that robotically, again, using AI in about 48 hours. So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for your particular cancer aimed at you, and have that vaccine available in 48 hours. This is the promise of AI and the promise of the future.
Great, thanks.
So we're not done with mRNA. They want to advance it. There's rumors that the mRNA have nanotechnology in them. I don't think it's been confirmed. I could be wrong about that. Um, but here he's alluding to that they do have the nanotechnology, and then it's just a matter of turning the switch, and then you get the vaccine for whatever disease it is that's ailing you. Um, so we're not done with mRNA. It's gonna stick around. Here is the same CEO.
For detection.
It's probably um, the same video that we've already listened to, but I have to agree, this isn't Maha. It's nobody. I didn't vote for continuing with mRNA. Um, So, Oracle CEO Larry Ellison envisions a future where AI revolutionizes healthcare by detecting early stage of cancer and creating personalized mRNA vaccines, therapies tailored to individual needs. Um, so this is going on to tell you, Ellison, the co-founder of Oracle, has ties to the CIA through the company's origins. Oracle began with a project known as Project Oracle, particularly funded to develop a database for the CIA. The company's name was inspired by this very contract with Oracle, serving as a code name for the CIA's groundbreaking database initiative. So I'm not going to play that. It's the same video that we've already seen. So here is Ellison talking outside the White House about the Stargate project. So let's take a listen. I'll have to start it back.
The first data centers are actually under construction in Texas already, and we'll be turning them over to Sam to start training their next model. The data center we already built, it was the largest computer ever built. The data center we're building will surpass it and be the largest computer ever built, which enables this AI, which will allow personalized medicine. This is going to touch all of us. Yes, it takes a huge investment, but the result of the investment will be vaccines that prevent cancers, personalized medicine where we never again run into a problem like COVID-19 before, because we get an early warning. We know when COVID starts, when there are a handful of patients, rather than having to wait until it's become an epidemic and very difficult to control. This is a very large investment that affects all of humanity. The first data.
All right, so Americans were promised they would be made healthy again. Cyber organization through a proven dangerous technology was not part of the deal. So they're wanting to take the mRNA to the next level to be able to alter it while it's inside your body, to be able to cure whatever ails you. Now this is Ellison. This was posted on September 14th. I'm not sure. It's probably right around that same time. He's talking about a surveillance system. So let's take a listen.
The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on. And it's unimpeachable. The cars have cameras on them. I think we have a squad car here someplace. But those kind of applications using AI, if we can use AI, and we're using AI to monitor the video. So if that altercation that occurred in Memphis, the chief of police would be immediately notified. It's not people that are looking at those cameras, it's AI that's looking at the camera. No, you can't do this. It would be like a shooting. That's going to be an event that's immediately, an alarm is going to go off, it's going to be, and we're going to have supervision. In other words, every police officer is going to be supervised at all times. And the supervision will, and if there's a problem, AI will report the problem and report it to the appropriate person, whether it's the sheriff or the chief or whomever we need to take control of the situation. We have, same thing. We have drones. If there's something going on in a shopping center, and I'll stop, a drone goes out there, get there way faster than a police car. There's no reason for, by the way, high-speed chases. You shouldn't have high-speed chases between cars. You just have a drone follow the car. I mean, it's very, very simple. And the new generation of autonomous drones.
So I don't think the AI is just going to be monitoring the police officers. So when I know here in my county, they've been talking about having cameras put up just around the school zones, right? Just to catch people speeding in those school zones. But, once you, just like with anything, once you allow it into your county, um, it's only going to spread. And then it's going to be, oh, but we've got to have it over here, and we've got to have it over here. And um, so this AI is going to, these data centers is going to continue to increase the surveillance system in our country. So Elon had a little statement to say that they actually don't have the money, and he's talking about the $500 billion that they're going to invest over the next 4 years to build this AI infrastructure in the United States. They'll begin deploying 1 billion immediately to this infrastructure to secure American leadership in AI. Um, so Elon is saying that they don't have the $500 billion, and this is going into what the company may lose. As Trump is celebrating with them. So we know a little bit about mRNA vaccines, and that they have things in them that's not normal to a regular vaccine or shot or whatever you want to call it. And they put extra things in these shots that are foreign to our bodies. We've talked about the aluminum um, in our vaccines before, which I have another video about that as well. Let me play that first before I play this video. So here's the aluminum video that kind of goes into it. So let's take a listen to this. Hold on one second. Let me back it up. All right. And get it into your frame. All right. Here you go.
One of the fundamental pillars of medicine, that vaccines have saved millions of people around the world and therefore can't be questioned. And I think, in my view, everything in science can be questioned. I'm a neuroscientist by training, and my studies are in the origin of neurological disease. I develop animal models of Parkinson's and Lou Gehrig's disease. Recently, we've been looking at aluminum, which is common to many vaccines. It's used as an adjuvant. That means helper. Without the aluminum, the vaccine basically does not provide any long-term protection. And so my research has looked at injectable aluminum and how it might impact the nervous system. The difference between injectable aluminum versus dietary aluminum is that aluminum that you eat is excreted fairly rapidly. Injectable aluminum, however, is meant to stick around. And that's precisely why it's there in the first place. That's what an adjuvant does. So we simply did the really simple experiment of taking the same stuff out of the vaccines, the aluminum hydroxide, and injecting it into mice, into the muscles, to see what would happen if we tried to mimic the vaccine schedule. We were quite surprised to see how rapidly the behavioral symptoms emerged. They showed not only behavioral deficits of motor function, but they ultimately showed cognitive deficits as well. And once we sacrificed the animals and started looking inside their brains and spinal cords, we found massive damage to motor neurons. And so we may be creating the conditions for Parkinson's disease, Lou Gehrig's disease, Alzheimer's disease. Maybe not immediately, but maybe 20, 30, 40 years down the road. We had some concerns when we released the study that it might trigger a bit of a backlash. It actually triggered a lot of silence. Pharma and the regulatory agencies largely ignored it, which is a very safe position to take, because if they wanted to counter what I've said with my studies, they should have just reached into their file folder and come up with their own study and said, Dr. Shaw is simply wrong because we did this study and look what we found. And after, 4 years, they haven't done that.
So we've discussed before that the aluminum does cause, if you take it like if you're drinking a soda out of an aluminum can, the aluminum gets into the soda, of course, and then in your dietary system, it's able to get rid of that aluminum. But when you inject it into your body, there's no way for your intestines and your digestive tract to discard it. So it just kind of sits there. And he's saying that it's going to cause lots of different Alzheimer's, Parkinson's as you age and as that aluminum just kind of sits in your body. So here's the video that I was going to play. Let me find out which tab it is. Synthetic molecules cause cancer. It's before Elon. All right, this is it right here. So let's take a listen.
One question from me. Where does any synthetic molecule serve the living?
They don't.
Right.
I mean, none.
And am I right in suggesting that a medicine, by definition, is something which contains synthetic molecules, something that is registered, patented, and put into the market as a medicine?
Absolutely.
Right. So what I'm learning from you, Dr. Young, is that a quadrillion-dollar enterprise is at work amongst us, decimating, culling the human family.
Intentionally.
Intentionally, using synthetic molecules, which by design are cancer, AIDS, all of the bogeymen you could dream up.
Yeah, it's for the purpose of sterilization and population control. There's too many people on the planet we need to get rid of. In the words of Bill Gates, at least 3 billion people need to die. So we'll just start off in Africa. We'll start doing our research there, and we'll eliminate most of the Africans because they're deplorable. They're worthless. They're not part of this world economy. So they have their rights taken away, and they're suppressed and they're experimented.
And the multilateral agencies and the health and regulatory so-called authorities and agencies appear in the main to have become weaponized and appear, I again use the word appear advisedly. We're not casting judgments here. We're taking depositions, listening to expert testimonies, appear to be weaponized and appear to be working in collusion against the living men and women of the soil. Is that a fair statement?
It is. It's not a bacterial war. It's a systemic poisoning war, and they're using chemical warfare against all of us.
Systemic chemical warfare against all of us. I think we know that to be true. And they just said that they're wanting to use mRNA to bring about the AI. So Naomi Wolf, we're all familiar with Naomi Wolf, and she says it hadn't been 48 hours, and we get this guy going into the White House talking about mRNA and wanting to push it as a cancer vaccine. So this is a oncologist, oncology professor, couldn't even say his last name, says that the very technology Oracle CEO Larry Ellison is selling is some of the sort of AI medical miracle for personal mRNA vaccines for cancer is actually an association for the increase in cancer he's seeing in his clinic, and in this case from the mRNA COVID vaccine boosters. He mentions, so let's go ahead and take a listen because he'll say it better than I can read it. So let's go ahead.
Can you explain in simple terms what it is that you are seeing that has got the alarm bells ringing?
Well, the first thing I saw doing a regular melanoma clinic that I've been doing for years was that I was starting to see people who were stable, that we've been doing immunotherapy for over 20 years. And I was starting to see people who've been stable for 5, 10, even 20 years relapse, really unusually. They're very fit and healthy. So I basically said, what have they all got in common? And they'd all got in common was they'd had the first booster vaccine. It was around this time. And I was able to show that they'd had it, then the relapse started between about 3 weeks and 3 months after the booster vaccine. So I thought this is an association. It doesn't mean to say it's causal. I mean, I'm the first to say that. But when you see an association and that it might be actually inducing it, you have to first of all ask why. Scientifically, is there a rationale for this? And two, is there anything else? Is it just a coincidence? Well, the thing that alarmed me was that I've done a lot of research on vaccines in my time, and I immediately remembered the model where one vaccine's good, two might help if the first one didn't react properly, but the third actually causes just more inflammation than good, and actually detracts from the first two, and the fourth is even worse. And lo and behold, another group published that cancer patients who'd received a booster had T-cell exhaustion. I mean, they couldn't have put it better.
And the T cells are policing, they're yes. looking for cancer cells yes. to arrest and detain.
It's a very good way of putting it. And they probably do it on a daily basis. I mean, we have abnormal cells rise every day. There's just millions, and it's very well controlled. And we know this, that patients who've had very bad cancer, we can give them the new immunotherapies now to boost their T-cell responses, and they can get complete responses and be under control for years. And so this is what was happening with the booster vaccine. It was perturbing this wonderful equilibrium of control and basically interrupting all the resources, and it led to a depression of the T-cell response. Now, I thought that was the most likely explanation, but I was amazed at how bad it was in some patients. As I said, they used T-cell exhaustion, not T-cell suppression, but exhaustion, that they'd just been stimulated to the point where they were no longer able to do their job. And then another paper came out showing that after the booster, not after the first and second induce what we call immunoglobulin subtypes. We call these 1 and 3, and these make neutralizing antibodies. But after the booster, many people now have reported that the subtype switches to 4. Now, what this means, instead of attacking a virus with a neutralizing killing, they switch off to a tolerizing one. And IgG4 is exactly the antibody response you want if you have a kidney transplant or a liver transplant. You want to tolerize the antibodies so they don't go and attack the new kidney or the renal. So all of a sudden, this starts falling into place. My God, we're switching off the policeman, and then we're tolerizing. And so no wonder the cancer's able to escape. But subsequently, we found many other disturbing reasons why, at the very least, and my point has been that the fact that we have a scientific explanation for this, the fact that we are seeing this, should be a red flag, and the MHRA should stop all the boosters. I mean, they've reduced it for people under 75, but if you're at risk, you can still get it. You can buy it at Boots. So there was an announcement. I mean, all this is absolutely nonsense for a virus that has long since gone.
Okay, that was a little over my head, but you know, basically he was saying that the mRNA vaccine overstimulates the T cells, which is your cancer-fighting cells, and then basically allows it to go just tolerate the infection and the invasion. and which allows the cancer cells to run rampant. That's the reason why we're seeing all these super cancers and whatnot. So this is a long rant that Alex Jones had. Well, it's not too long. It's only like 3 minutes long. So let's take a listen.
I want to hear that Bill Gates and any of the different regulatory people he's had before and the different private groups, his front people, bankrolled by him, controlled by him on record. So he can attack us and kill us and test on us with these and do illegal experiments on kids all over the world that he brags about. And he's been indicted in the Netherlands. I want to hear that he needs to be arrested. I want him criminally investigated. It's open and shut. It's prima facie, on its face. But I'll be disappointed if I don't see that. That's what people want. It's the truth. Gates is one of those most hated people in the world. Even corporate media attacks him, and Albert Bourla and Fauci. I mean, these guys got caught. And if Trump is crazy enough to somehow hitch his wagon to these people, I am going to support good things Trump's doing, but I am going to absolutely oppose this and beat the drum and point out that we've really been betrayed on the central issue of making America and the world healthy again and stopping this eugenics, depopulationist, slow kill attack. I cannot believe Trump's going to do this. I know Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will resign if that's the case. And I know that his sons are upset and know what's going on. I know Elon knows the shots are bad, almost killed his brother, made a bunch of his engineers sick. I mean, this would be the most evil, self-destructive, politically suicidal thing that Trump could do. So I know that Trump with Mitt Romney met with him and then went public against him, but was nice at the meeting. So that's kind of Trump's MO. So I really politically, culturally, scientifically can't see any way Trump would do this. It's just not good, insane, unpopular, criminal. And Trump is already putting in the people that are going to go directly to war with this. The public's massively awake and is only getting more awake by the moment, so they're never going to concede and succeed regardless. And the criminal indictments and the suits and the insurance actuaries and 30 million dead, I mean, it's all just never going away. I mean, most people aren't taking any so-called vaccines now because they understand it all comes from the same criminal system. So it would be the equivalent of Trump taking a hammer and beating himself in the head with it if he did that.
All right, I have to agree with Alex that if Trump does go this route and bringing in more mRNA vaccines after we know as much as we know, the public knowing as much as they know, I think it would be just devastating for his presidency. So let's just hope that some people can get his ear and say, hey, look, you know, that's a no-go. We need to go back to nature and bringing us healthy, and not these injecting our bodies and becoming transhuman. That's not the way to go. So now we're going to go into some more deep conspiracy things, just some kind of fun videos that I found. I don't know. Take it as you will. So we're going to go with two separate videos here and just kind of open you up to some more information, I guess.
All your computer screens are blue lit. The reason none of them are red lit The reason none of them pay attention to circadian biology is because that original technology was developed in a government program that Bobby Kennedy knows about, and I happen to know about because I went to medical school at LSU. For those of you who've never heard about Operation Paperclip, you think it's all conspiracy theory. So at Tulane Neurology and Tulane Neurosurgery in the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, the CIA started a program there where they would do all these crazy things to monkeys. The CIA wanted to see how they could control things utilizing different things like drugs and things like that. Where the neurosurgeons got involved, which is my clade, we would drill tops of the heads off, put wires into the thalamus, put electricity in there, and kind of see what kind of behavioral changes we could have. One of the guys that was in that program was a guy named Professor Delgado. When he saw that we could control the behavior with the wired device, he said, what if we do it wirelessly? So he checked it in monkeys and checked it in bulls, and it turned out you can do it wirelessly with RFID chips and semiconductors. Then the CIA took it to the next level. They said, well, since this is electromagnetic radiation, what if we did it through light through screens? And it turns out you can. And that's the reason why all your computer screens have the frequencies they have. So why is this all important? Well, the person that set this meeting up between me and Bobby is the patent attorney that made sure that Google and Meta have those things so they can control the things that we all do. Where did the original idea come from that started off in MK Ultra with the CIA? You're going to be surprised when you hear this. It came from the mafia in Las Vegas. They wanted to build a new city in a desert. They enclosed it all, blacked out the windows, invented slot machines that were blue lit. And they found out that they didn't have to take a gun, stick it in your face to steal your money. Then they even got smart. They said, let's give people free alcohol while they're doing that. And they found out they got the money quicker. And that's when the CIA got the idea to start this program. That's really how it started.
Okay, so a little bit more information. This one's really going to take you for a whirl, I think.
If you thought this was strange, wait until you hear about the weird coincidences between this guy right here and this guy, Wernher von Braun, who was a German-American aerospace engineer who was a member of this party right here. Now, von Braun was the leading figure in the development of rocket technology in Germany and later a pioneer of rocket and space technology in the United States. Now, you may be wondering, how did he go from Germany to America? Well, following the war, he was secretly moved to the United States along with 1,600 other German scientists, engineers, and technicians as part of Operation Paperclip. And for those who do not know what Operation Paperclip is, go ahead and pause and read right here. Now let's go back to von Braun here. He worked for the United States Army. He was part of an intermediate range ballistic missile program, and he developed the rocket that launched the United States' first space satellite, Explorer 1. And as a side note, he also worked with Walt Disney on a series of films, which popularized the idea of human space travel in the US and beyond from 1955 to 1957. Now you may be asking, what ties does von Braun have with this guy right here? Well, I'm glad to tell you the weird coincidental tie here, which comes from Project Mars, a technical tale which was written by von Braun. Now, he wrote this science fiction novel back in 1949. Now, the story takes place in 1980, 30 years in the future. The world is governed by the United States, established after a devastating war in the 1970s between the Western powers and the Eastern Bloc. Now, the West won the conflict with the aid of Luneta, an orbiting space station that dropped a nuclear missile on the Soviet Union. Soon after, peace is achieved. A reflecting telescope of Luneta confirms the existence of canals on Mars. Now, this vindicates the assertion that intelligent life exists on the planet. And with this, the president orders a mission to Mars to establish just how intelligent the Martians are and whether they pose a threat to Earth. Now, please stay with me here. This is when it gets interesting. So on this mission, the explorers soon make contact with the Martians. They are humanoid in appearance and live underground. They welcome the Earthlings, who quickly establish that they are an ancient, benevolent super civilization. After establishing verbal communication, the humans learn about the Martians' social structure and their form of government, which is run by 10 men under the leadership of the Elon. Leadership of the Elon, with Mr. Elon loving his Occupy Mars shirt. Now, the visitors witnessed technology far superior to their own, including underground transport and organ transplants. Makes me think of the Boring Company and also Neuralink, transplanting chips into your brain. Done. They also learned from the Martians their views on ethics and morality and the responsible use of technology. Now remember, this book was written in 1949 by a German scientist, which is about life on Mars with 10 rulers, which makes me think of Daniel 7:24 and Revelation 17 about the 10 kings. And the leader of this Martian civilization with super technology is named the Elon. You literally can't make this up, as we all know how he has a vision of multi-planet civilization. As we know, he is obsessed with going to Mars. Again, you can see how he constantly wears this shirt. Nothing freaky is going on at all. And the irony that he constantly tries to tell people how he is an alien, but nobody believes him.
Because I'm an alien. That's what I've speculated.
Yes.
I'm on record saying this in the past. I wonder.
It's true.
You can't make this up. And I guess it's just a coincidence how the Elon is now best friends with the president and how he wants to usher in the Novus Ordo Seclorum, which, if you have been paying attention, you know this is the future right here he wants to usher in. Merging man with machine, bringing on the bio-digital convergence. Now, I could talk until my face is blue about this transhumanist technocratic takeover ushering in the beast system, fourth industrial revolution that people are cheering on. I could talk all day long about that. I make most of my videos on that. But right now, I want to pivot here a second because I want to talk to the individuals who have eyes to see and ears to hear. And I want you to know that you are not alone. Others can see the writing on the wall. And right now, we need to connect to each other, drawing closer to the Lord, helping each other run this race. It is a marathon, and right now we can see the finish line. We look up and we can realize that our redemption is drawing near. And as the ecclesia, the church, the called out ones, it is our duty and goal to encourage one another, to edify one another, to run this race, and we do it together. So with that, if you are struggling, if you feel isolated, you feel alone, please check out livebyfaithtoday.org and join one of our fellowship meetings, or email us, message us, comment down here, whatever. Connect with the body of Christ who can see the writing on the wall. This video is not for the individuals who have taken the bait. They are drinking the Kool-Aid. They will see one day. We love them, but sometimes you must love them from afar, okay? We love them, but we need to focus on our own personal relationship with the Lord, encouraging one another who can see what's going on, and really draw close to the Lord right now, seeking Him, repenting to Him, turning from this world and turning to God. This is the idea of 1 John 2:15, to not love the world nor the things in the world. The love of the Father is not found in this world, and we need to love one another while we love Jesus and we prioritize Him. We do it together. And the way that we do this together, guys, is by sharing with each other our burdens. Galatians 6:2. Carry each other's burdens, what you're going through, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Tell others within the body of Christ what the Lord is working on you with, how He is growing you, some things that you're struggling with, and that we can do this together. This is how the body of Christ is meant to operate and to work in this world as pilgrims and sojourners. The church is not a building. That is an organization that the world system has constructed. I get it. I understand. It does good things, but those who have a hard time going to a building, you still need to connect to fellow believers. And I believe that is the purpose the Lord has placed on my heart and my wife's heart for the ministry, Live by Faith. Live by faith is what we do as believers. We are saved by faith, and then every single day, that same faith, we live by it. Because we live by faith and not by sight, and we need to do this together, helping one another with our faith. So I love you all so much. I hope this video was educational, entertaining, but ultimately, our relationship with the Lord and trusting in Him and Him alone and seeking Him is what truly matters, and He will guide us through the muddy waters and the storm that we are going through right now. God bless, and remember, the just shall live by faith.
All right. I don't think there's anything more to say. Uh, If there's still any time, there's no time like now to get into your Bible and read, fellowship with others, find a church that that really represents your faith in Jesus, and just get into it, um, and live by the word. Anyway, y'all have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. If you have any videos or anything you'd like to share, just send them my way, and I'll see if I can get them on. If you run across anything, there's my emails, FYN, Diane@gmail.com. I do want to do my speech that I had the other day on citizen journalists. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. I don't know. I just with the mRNA stuff happening at the White House yesterday, I just felt the need that I needed to really reject that, and it's not good for humanity at all. So y'all have a wonderful day, and stay warm. It is very, very cold. We'll see you tomorrow, 8 a.m. Bye.